Hello, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening in the podcast right now. It is Monday, May 12th, 2025. I wanted to come here and share a dream vision that I had. Before I continue, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who has been following me on Spotify. Don't forget to do so. And don't forget to follow me on Spotify, I meant to say. And also, everybody who's watching this video right now on YouTube. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, okay? I know what I'm going to speak about here is not the usual videos that I come here and do, right? But I had a very vivid dream last night. It's almost like it was a vision, and definitely it was definitely AI. It was very concentrated in AI. It's almost like I was able to see the main thing that I noticed. I'm going to try to remember the dream. The main thing that I noticed was how much AI was involved in our daily life. And being a designer, I guess you can say I do pay attention to details a lot. But this dream, have you ever had those dreams where you feel like, oh my goodness, that was so real? I'm like, you just want to like, wow, what was that all about? And you kind of know, like, God is telling me something with this dream, right? And the reason that I say that is because you notice when you just have a regular dream, right? And then you have those type of dreams that you're like, God, are you telling me something through this, right? And I know there's many ways that God speaks to his children, but definitely this dream, it was definitely, I don't know if these are things to come or how AI is going to be incorporated. It was a little scary too, to see how, let me just tell you, it was the scary part about this is not that something was like being done to humans. It was more like we no longer had like this type of control over the things that we wanted to do. I guess you can say, let me just get to it, right? So I'm somewhere where I'm in this place where I see like a lot of people. I'm interacting with people, and I remember there was a guy that was holding this type of machine that he is. Have you seen those cameras that they have these days? When you see people creating content, they have it's like a camera that goes over their shoulders and they're holding it like this, and then the camera is like on the front here, and it kind of goes over the shoulder. They have handles to hold it, and then I guess to control the motion or something. But he was wearing something like that, but he had headphones and there was like a little computer in this whole installment that he had over him. And the reason that I'm being extremely detailed is because I know people are listening to this in the podcast, so they cannot see me moving my hands trying to explain to you what it means. But this guy was holding this apparatus, I guess I can say, and I know it was a holder for a camera or some type of computer, because it was connected to a little tablet or little laptop next to him. And then there was a woman who was talking to me, right? And as this guy is there standing next to her with the headphones, he keeps typing. I'm standing next to the woman and she's talking to me. And she said, how are you doing? I said to her, I'm okay. I said, I'm okay. I haven't been sleeping that well. She said, oh, we know. And I said, how can you know that? It's so crazy how I just questioned that to her. And I said, you know that I haven't been sleeping well? Like, how do you know that? I just said. And she said, well, um, we can see everything. And I think I skipped a part. They actually were helping me to get to the bottom. I was walking down the stairs somewhere, but it was very steep, and somehow I couldn't get to like the next part of the building, right? And they're like, okay, just put these headphones on, and we're gonna help you just hold on to the machinery, right? And as she said that, and she asked me, how are you doing? I said, oh, I'm okay. I'm just having trouble sleeping. She says, oh, we know. And I questioned that. I remember pausing and looking at her. I said, "How do you know that?" And she said, "Well, the moment you put on that machine that he gave to you, so he can help you go to the next part of the building or to get out of the space that we were in." She said, "That machine tells everything to us." And I said to her, "What?" And I remember just feeling this sense of anger, and I was like, "What do you mean you can tell everything?" She's like, "We can tell your everything that's going on with your body, like your health. We can tell your health. We can feel your emotions and know what emotions you're going through right now, and we can also tell how everything that how much you're sleeping, your blood pressure, all of that information, and we can with that machine let us know all of that, including your emotions and including what you're thinking about." And I was like, "What?" And she said, "Look, he's downloading the whole report right now." And let me just tell you something, because in that moment, I knew it was this new technology that was kind of like created. And I understand right now, I'm sure there's technology who can tell that, right? Our watches, right? Smart watches will tell us like our pulse, sleep patterns, all of that stuff. And that's, those are things that we willingly use it to kind of, know how we're doing, right? How much we're sleeping, things like this. But when it's something that is kind of like the thing that got me, I'm sure it will get a lot of people, this actually comes to happen, right? When she said to me, "We can even tell what your emotions are, and we can actually know what you're thinking about." And I remember getting so upset. I said, "Nobody told me that that will happen." And I said to her, "I'm just trying to get to the next space. And you guys are telling me just because I put on this machinery with the headphones, all my information now, you are part of it and you're downloading some type of report on me, right? Including like everything that I don't want to share with you guys, right?" And she said, "Well," she kind of looked at me like, "There's not much we can do now. It's already done." And I remember just walking away. I'm like, whatever. I remember going like this. I'm like, "I'm out of here." And I turned the other way. I was going up kind of like this hill. And up the hill, I see two people standing up wearing like very well dressed, right? Not kind of like fashion, more like they look kind of like lab technicians, meaning like they had the white coat on. This is so strange. And as I'm getting closer to them, they're talking to each other. And I'm going up, and they see me coming. They turn around, and they kind of pause, and they say this greeting. They sounded like a machine, and they say to me, "Hello, how are you?" Kind of like the machines, how they talk to you. And the woman stretches her hand towards me, kind of like to greet me. And I said, "I'm good, thank you." Like, I'm not shaking your hand. And the moment I see her hand, it's the hand of a robot. And I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." They look like real people. Like, you get closer, and then that's when you kind of notice. You notice in the way they speak, and I noticed that in the way they spoke, and I noticed when she launched her hand to me to shake my hand, and I said, "Oh, you." I was like, "I'm not shaking your hand," because I knew the moment I made contact with her hand, they were gonna get all the information from me, right? Once again, it's all about the contact with this robot, right? This is so strange. I know it can sound a little weird to people, but if you notice, if you see what's coming, like after that part that I met those people, I don't remember much what happened after that. But if you notice, there was a viral video that happened last week. I think it was about this factory that was working with a robot or something like this. And the robot like went crazy and started hitting the technicians. And I don't know if this is like AI generated, like AI is really taking over. Um, and I remember, I don't know if that was like a fake video or something, but I remember watching that, and I was like, look at this. Their AI computer, you know, robot is hitting the technicians, right? The people who made it. That's crazy. And then, you know, I came here a couple months ago and told you that they are rolling out robots that you can have a home to babysit your kids, to take care of your elderly parents. That's crazy, you guys. Okay. And that vision dream that I had last night, I know I was sleeping, so I would call it a dream, but it was so vivid, it's almost like a vision. It was definitely, like I said, I felt like I was seeing things to come, because it was the emphasis on technology was so big, right? And I was like, this is so strange. And the way she kind of was asking me questions, yes, she already knew everything about it. You know, you ever met people, you go to introduce yourself and they say, oh, I know who you are. Like, that can be a little weird, because it's like, when you go and introduce yourself to somebody, it means that you don't really know them. That's why you go and say your name. So when you go and do that and people look at you and say, I know who you are, you're like, you know, a version of somebody, of whoever. Like, it could be different. It could be difficult to be okay with that, because it could be, oh yeah, we know the whoever was presented to you, like, the me who was presented to you according to somebody else's opinion, type of thing, right? It's just it's very strange. I tell you, I remember being extremely upset that how quickly are kind of like I mean, for this machinery to even know what we're thinking about. I was like, oh my goodness. And then, of course, I woke up and nothing, I didn't think much of it, but it was definitely, I did think about it, but it wasn't like, oh my goodness, what's happening? And then you have to think about what's happening right now with our phones, right? You can be thinking of something, you can be thinking of somebody, and then you turn on TikTok. Have this happened to you before? I mean, there is definitely reading what we're thinking. And this is not a made up thing, right? It's so weird. Sometimes it might sound like craziness, but it is already happening, And it makes you wonder, wow, we're so easily, because we love our phones and we love to be entertained, I guess, through watching videos, TikTok, and like, for me, like being on top of the news and knowing what's happening, right? As it's almost like we're going to present this to you accessible, what you like, right? But we're also going to gather so much information about who you are, even the things that you don't want people to know, and the things that you as a human have you want to keep private, right? Like your emotions, your private information, your address and things like this, that it's just, there's no privacy anymore. It's so crazy. And it's already been happening, but it's almost like it's been happening, but it's been kept secret. Like, you only figure it out after you go out and search for it, right? I know on TikTok, I know a lot of people don't use TikTok, but definitely that application, you guys, definitely there's something with them. I don't know if they have some type of deal with the companies, with Apple, Android, some type of deal that they created with these companies, but let me know in the comments if this has happened to you. You can go to a store, you walk around, you don't buy anything. You have your phone on you, right? Because we always have our phones with us, right? And then out of nowhere, there you are, you go home and you get an email about something that maybe you pause at the store and you're like, this is a good sale, but I don't really need it, but it's good to look at it. And maybe perhaps you snap a photo to send it to a friend or something. Be like, hey, they have this on sale, whatever store, right? You don't buy it. So you think the company that you walk through doesn't have any information on you. And then you get an email about the same product. And you're like, what is going on? There's some type of marketing think information being sold to attract more people, more buyers. It's almost like if we can just get ahead and think what they're thinking about buying, then we can make more money. It's all about the money making, right? I remember I worked in retail for many years, and there's something it's interesting how the weather shifts what products are gonna sell, right? It's almost like let's just say I never work in supermarkets, but you can tell there's a strategic way of presenting merchandise, right? When they know in the next 5 days it's going to be all rain, have you seen how in some certain stores they push out the umbrellas like in the center? Like you will see them with the moment you walk in, right? Or if there's going to be a snowstorm, the Target advertisement is so big, they put it right at the entrance, right? And I remember when I worked retail, so I used to dress mannequins, and it will be like, oh, summertime is coming, or this is the last day of school. Then we'll start pushing out like the vacation things, and we'll put like a table with like bathing suits, sandals, beach bags, beach towels, and things like that. Things that we know people are going to be looking for to buy, right? But that was like based on like could be weather, or this they used to call it something. There was like some type of target kind of like review to see what people consumer buying was happening, and every so often we would change according to the season, right? And have you also noticed how everything is so seasonal, right? Everything is seasonal. So it was based on that, but now I think what's coming forward and is moving rapidly to the point that is once we wake up and be like, oh, this is actually already been happening. Like that dream that I had, when she said to me, we already know all this information about you, and we know what you're thinking about and everything. And I remember being so offended, but now that you really think about it, they already know, right? Because it's you hear people saying, I keep getting advertisement about something that I looked on YouTube to buy, to kind of like see if this person already bought this. Sometimes you're buying a new machine, right? Like for me, when I buy a new sewing machine, I'm like, let me see somebody already did the unboxing because I want to know like what to expect, right? And then you go to YouTube and you search about it. But what is happening now is this kind of like underlaying of, we know she's thinking about getting a sewing machine. It's almost like these phones that we carry with us all the time, we're always staring at it. There's some type of technology that they haven't disclosed to us yet, or maybe they never will, right? Where they're actually getting information about what we're thinking. That has happened to you. Leave a comment. I know people go and say a lot of things about it. People are so surprised to get advertisement about something that they were just thinking about, right? Like I said, walking through a store, not buying anything, getting an email pop up saying we give you 10% off about that thing that you thought about in this store, even though they don't know. Like, how do they know this information? And definitely it makes you even want to it makes you be like, God, protect me from anything, right? From all of this, protect me from all of this that is almost like it's creeping over, but it's already happening. It's creeping over. It has some type of layer with that they don't want people to know, but it's already been happening. And it's getting to that point that you just like, it makes you want to I need to fast and pray and get closer with the Lord, right? Because this technology is definitely moving at a fast speed. Definitely, guys. Let me know what you think about this. And like I said, if you experienced something like this before, please leave a comment. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.